Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Blue Side B by ChinStrap. So this is pretty neat. I wanted to save this surprise for when we got to the second puzzle. But if you remember, ChinStrap's previous puzzle was Blue Side A, and it looked like this. So the clues are identical, and the constraints and rules are identical. It's just the boxes got rotated, and I think that's really neat that both of them are unique and solvable. So let's go over the rules to this one, in case you didn't play Blue Side A or don't remember. So we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules, but we do have vertical boxes today instead of horizontal, so it's kind of rotated. So if you were to rotate this 90 degrees, then it would be normal 6x6 for what we're used to. Although I don't know that there is a standard for which way the boxes are supposed to go in a 6x6, but at least variant authors who use the same tooling, it defaults to the other way. Anyway. I'm going to stop blabbing about that. We have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. So in each row, each column, and each 3x2 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We also have region sum lines in the grid. The way these work is every time it crosses a box border, it creates a new segment. So this is a segment, this is a segment, and this is a segment. And all segments on the same line have the same sum. So let's just take a really simple example. If this was 2, 4, that sums to 6. This could be 1, 5. That also sums to 6. That would work. This is a segment. This is a segment. For the longer lines, this is the same as this, which is the same as this, just the sums. But of course, just because this sums to 6 doesn't mean this has to, or this has to, because different lines can have different sums. All right. We have our crop key dots in the grid. So digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. So if this was a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3. And digits separated by a black dot have a 1 to 2 ratio, meaning 1 is double the other. So if this was a 2, this could be 1 because 2 is double 1, or 4 because 4 is double 2. Not all the dots are necessarily given. We just say that especially for crop key because the traditional crop key puzzle, which isn't Sudoku, it's similar, but isn't Sudoku, by default gives all of the dots. But we do not in this variant, at least. So a 2, 4 here could have had a black dot, and there's not a black dot, and that's perfectly fine. That does not mean that this is valid. The dots only tell us about the cells they touch. All right, and that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. Okay, so here, this actually is 6, and I was trying really hard to avoid giving that away. Although, I mean, it's a fairly simple deduction. 3 cells. What is the, oh, sorry, this is minimum 6. Sorry, for some reason I thought there was a 1 cell segment here. No, it doesn't have to be 6. It's minimum 6 though. Because 3 cells sum to a minimum of 6. Now the maximum is 11. So we add to somewhere between 6 and 11. So that's not as useful as I thought. This here, these 2 digits sum to this one. So this could be a 1, 2 pair. And if it was, this would sum to 3. And so that's the minimum. So this is 3, 4, 5, or 6. Let's see. Are there any actually gimmies? Yes, this is a gimme. 1, 2, 3 is our minimum. 6 is our maximum. So that's what we have to do. The minimum, when the minimum equals the maximum, that is the only value possible. So this cannot be a 6. So this got a little bit more limited. In fact, this is a 4, 5, 6 triple. This is a 1, 2, 3. This is a 4, 5, 6. We want to do that. These 2 are the same digits. We can get rid of the 6. But importantly, what I'm noticing here is that these 2 digits add to this. And the minimum here is 4, 1, 4, which adds to 5, which is the maximum. So when the min equals the max, that's what it has to be. We can clean up the 1s and the 4s here. And so now this has to be 5 and 5. And that's a 6. All right. So now we know we add to either 8 or 9. Good to know. Let's fill this triple. This is 2, 3, 6. So this is okay. This kind of gives it away. Gives it away. Well, does it? Let me think for a second. If this had a 6, it gives it away. Because if this must have a 6 on it, then this 6 with a 2, 3 is the same as this 6 with 2, 3 and whatever this digit is, right? So we'd be forced to make this a 1, and then this would be 6, 2, and this would be 6, 3 in order to do that. But if it didn't have the 6, these would add to 5. And so then this would be 1 higher than this. This would be 3 or 4. So this is 1, 3, or 4 only, I guess. We probably can come back to this later and have a much easier time. But here, oh, interesting. Okay, actually, this is really cool logic, so I'm glad I did it now because it might be easier later. It's fun to show off cool logic. But this might be the intent. So this is 6 plus whatever this is, and it's the same sum as 5 plus whatever this is. So this digit needs to be exactly one higher than this in order for the sums to equal. But remember I said that if this didn't have a 6, this was also 5, and this would also have to be one higher than this. But these can't be the same digit as each other. So that's not going to work. So we must contain the 6, which means that this has to be the 2. Because if this was the 3, then this would... sorry, that means this has to be the other way around. This has to be the 3. So this was the 2, we'd add to 8. But the minimum here is, in these two cells, would be 8. And then this would add to more to it. So this does have to be the minimum of 8. This is a 9. This is a 1. This is a 4. There we go. That's 2. Sorry if my explanation there was a little bit disjointed. Hopefully it made sense. You can always ask in the comments if you're having issues. 2 could go with 1 or 4, but the 4 is already used. And then 3 goes with 6 always. So these two add to these 3. 3 digits add to a minimum of 6. If this wasn't a 6, then it would be 1, 3, which is 4. No good. So that is a 6. That's a 3. That's a 1. That's a 2. This is a 5. These two digits are a 3, 4. That adds to 7. So these also add to 7. 7 is the most flexible for 2 cells in a 6x6. But we can't use the 1 and we can't do 3, 4. So it actually does have to be 2, 5. So it can't be 1, sorry, that's the 7, right? So it can't be 1, 6 because the 1 is gone. It can't be 3, 4 because then there'd be too many 3, 4s in this column. So it has to be a different way of summing than this. So 2, 5 is the only other option. So that's 2, that's 5. That's 6, that's 2. 5 is going to go with 4 because it can't go with 6. That's 3 and 4. That's a 6 and a 4. All right. Should be clear sailing from here. 1, 3, 6. Smooth sailing? Clear sailing. I like clear sailing, kind of, even though that's not the phrase. That's 4. So this added to 7. So this actually has to be 1, 1, 2, 4. Can't put a 3 on a 3 cell sum to 7. That's 3, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 1, that's 3, that's a 5, and we're done. All right, cool puzzle, ChinStrap. It's really neat that it's the exact same cluing, but the boxes are rotated, so I'm sure the solution is different. And the way that the lines get segmented is even different in some ways. So really neat discovery. I like that a lot. Let me know how you did. If you enjoyed this, why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.